Extraordinary. Now, it took just hours for former President Trump to condemn the attack.
No parent should have to suffer the terrible loss of a child at the hands of terrorists or anybody else. Today's attack on Israel cannot be forgotten, and it will go down as another moment in history created by a weak and ineffective United States president and vice president. They wouldn't have done this if I were the president.
Correct. For the White House, a statement didn't come until this afternoon. It reads in part, quote, "We have been in continuous discussions with Israeli and Lebanese counterparts since the horrific attack yesterday in northern Israel that killed a number of children playing soccer. This attack was conducted by Lebanese Hezbollah. It was their rocket and launched from an area they control. It should be universally condemned." As we know, of course, it was an Iranian rocket used by Hezbollah. And from Vice President Harris's team, also this afternoon, she has been briefed and is closely monitoring what her staff calls Hezbollah's horrific attack. She also condemns the attack. All right, well, Jason, where do we start here with all of this?
Disgusting and unnecessary, but in total embarrassment for the United States government to have to take a full day to respond to this. The president, the vice president should have been issuing a statement within the hour. That's what you do if you have an ironclad relationship with Israel, making the world know that you know exactly what's happening, and you're pointing the finger not only at Lebanon, but you're pointing at the Iranians. And they went out of their way to make sure that they didn't mention Iran. Yeah. But Iran is the one that's doing this.
Yeah, it was another deflection, Nicole, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, facts matter. And the truth is, under President Trump, he cut off Iran at the knees through sanctions, through oil. President Biden undid what President Trump did and allowed them to regrow, stockpile. Vice President Kamala Harris, she panders to the pro-Hamas squad as well as to Michigan voters. And because of that, all of a sudden, they're giving a green right to Iran. And unless you put Iran back in its place, Israel will never be safe. You'll continue to see these bombings. And unfortunately, more Israelis will continue to die, and it just cannot happen. We have to be strong with Iran. Iran sees us as weak right now, and Harris is giving the green light.
You know, and this happened just after Kamala Harris told Netanyahu to have a ceasefire, right? This was after that meeting. And with her not even being able to issue her own statement by some anonymous staff person.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to talk about the way that President Trump, you know, he's not invincible when it comes to politics, but he has great political instincts. And when he talks about stuff like this, you know, you saw him there at the rally. He says it was terrible. It was a tragedy. It never would have happened if I was president. And he always stresses that. And, you know, it's a great way for him to deal with this politically. And he's going to be doing this for the next few months because they are the administration in power. He's going to be bringing up Afghanistan, the bungled withdrawal there. And he doesn't like to get bogged down in the weeds and the details of foreign policy. In a very general sense, we have this feeling that there's chaos in the world and that this administration hasn't been able to deal with that. And he's going to keep reinforcing that.
And I think the weakness in general of what is signaled to these places, that they can just do it. I mean, that and Israel's hands being tied by, you know, the constant arguing.
Well, and also real quick, the danger is not just in Israel and the Middle East. This is coming to the United States. These are not only anti-Israelis, these are anti-Americans as well. This is very dangerous. The terror is growing.
They're together. You're right. Now,
hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.